I want to find those questions
All right.
I had before.
Okay. Well, we're live. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Tech Talk with T&E, our Monday show that we do. Before I lose it and forget it, please subscribe, follow, do all the stuff that we
Like, share.
Like, share, all that good stuff. Today we have Miss Monique Rice with us today. Super awesome person. We've been friends with her and Wes for quite a few years. It's actually kind of funny. My goal, or our goal this year, is to get me into, we call it the Wes phase. So to where I'm going to just get reports about Solterra, and then I'm going to be doing testing and affiliate and all the other stuff.
Okay.
Get me to the West phase. So like get me out of the day-to-day. So and that's
I'm working on that for me, Wes has been doing that for 10 years. So
exactly. Yeah. See, I'm 10 years late. So we're pushing it. So anyways, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Elisabeth, did you find your stuff?
Not yet. I am still looking.
Okay, so tell us
questions first.
So tell us a little bit about Effective Web Solutions, EWS.
EWS, we just celebrated going into our 16th year here this August. We are up to 40 people on our team. So been growing, and we just have an amazing team. We have a stateside team, and we have an out-of-state team, out-of-country team that does more back-end type of stuff. But a lot of our team that we have stateside, they're all local, to us, and they're the heavy lifters, doing client communication and front facing and everything. And we got 4 awesome sales reps and growing. I mean, it's been good. Been a wild ride. Been wonderful.
That's pretty cool. So one of the things that we're doing different this year is we're putting more emphasis on retention. Mm-hmm. You guys have been doing that all along. Because it's always easier to keep clients than find new ones, obviously. But yeah, so just out of curiosity, do you have a process in place for retention? Do you talk about, because you guys do annual contracts or 1-year contracts. Mm-hmm. When do you kind of start talking about year 2, year 3? Is there a time frame there, or just
always do it? I mean, it's right up front for me. Whenever I talk to a client, it's like, here's what our first year is going to look like. Here's how, we're going to roll into the next year. Certainly does ongoing meetings with clients, as often as they want, I mean, typically more than once a month is a lot, but depends, usually it's just a matter of them getting comfortable and whatnot, and everybody understanding kind of, their role. We are very much constantly putting in our clients' minds that it's a partnership. We do need their participation and help, with different things. But, I guess, our mentality is that most of the time for our SEO clients, our first year is usually at a loss, so it's important for us to keep that client for many years. My clients that I've had all 15 years. So, many clients, and, those are a great referral source for us too.
100%. Definitely. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. I just think, we always just took it for granted because we don't do contracts. We're strictly month to month. Mm-hmm. We do ask for a 30-day notice, obviously, but, and it's tough when you lose them, especially when you lose them. Oh, sorry about this. Thought I had my phone up. It's tough to lose them, especially when it's a surprise. That's my biggest thing. And, they're doing well, and then all of a sudden they call you up and say, oh, hey, we're going to go a different direction this year.
Yeah. And everybody has that, to a certain degree. But, if you're talking to them frequently, you usually have a pretty good, idea of where they're at and where their mentality is and everything too, and kind of temperament. But yeah, when they're doing well, you're like, what? Okay. But yeah, usually, our retention rate is probably, last I checked, we're right about a 92%.
Right on.
So yeah, but communication from us, from our team, from our account managers, the whole 9 yards is super important. And probably the biggest thing in keeping your clients, for sure. So
And you guys don't do just web design, do you?
We do on occasion. It's something that we kind of look at what we've got going on, currently,
Okay.
and whether we can actually fit it into our, hey JP, into our overall workflow and all of that. And also if it's a potential client later on for any other type of marketing and everything too, if it fits in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I think the reason you maybe asked that question is because their web design is so specialized. It's not necessarily something that people can take away. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone builds websites the same way. And EWS is very, very specific in how they build, right?
Yeah, well, we have our own, custom theme and things that we've certainly have done, and building in a lot of that automation and things like that, and our sites now too. So yeah, so I mean, it's certainly, we give our websites to our clients for 90% of our SEO packages. They get their website for free. So because we usually find that their websites are so broken, and it's like trying to find a needle in the haystack as to what's wrong, but it's easier for us to just build the site over again and know what we're dealing with and to be able to fix all of that all in one. So that's, really the, predominant reason behind, our annual agreements and whatnot, besides planning. We put a whole year infrastructure together for our clients. And it's like, if you don't plan, you're basically planning to fail. Isn't that old saying? So, we put a whole entire, content strategy together, everything for the whole entire year. And we put it in our task management system and, assign it to every person on our team and, all of that. And there may be a month, here and there that we're doing, 2 or 3 months worth of work, what I mean? In comparison with what a client's actually paying, because maybe Google has some major influxes or whatever may be happening that we're or we're tearing apart and redoing their completely refocusing all of their content for them or whatever. So, yeah.
What would you say?
We're doing a lot of stuff. We're doing a lot of stuff around content nowadays that we didn't used to do, for sure.
Yeah. What was that, Elisabeth?
What would you say is like one of the common misconceptions like in our industry that you see popping up over and over?
SEO is a one and done. That one always cracks me up. Let's see. Social doesn't matter. Those that are actually like, oh, I don't want to have anything posted to my social media or whatever. And it's like, branding's a big deal, and it's important to be able to have all that social on the back end and to be able to have that all as it's all part of your SEO plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not the way the clients think of it as, from a social media standpoint. I'm not talking about ads. I'm talking about, how to be able to get your branding out there to be able to influence your SEO. So, well, those are probably some pretty big ones.
Definitely.
What do you guys thinking is common misconceptions?
I think the biggest thing for me is you have to be more than just the SEO. You have to be into the whole process. And there's some great SEOs out there, that, we could all wish to be like Clint and just do what he wants to do. And, don't ask for reports and all that good stuff. But, I kind of take it personal, especially like missed calls on the pay-per-click side are even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's really hard to, just say, hey, you're ranking for these 300 keywords. And then that's kind of where the conversation ends. I just don't, I think that you have to be about conversions. You have to be about, are they the right leads? Are you just getting 8 out of 10 spam? I mean, all the conversations that have to go along with ranking.
I think we're different from that aspect, and that is 99% of what we actually track. So we're tracking all the calls, the website inquiries. We have people listening to those calls, scoring the calls. We know how many they're getting in terms of spam. We're comparing it on a year-over-year basis to know where, what's really going on.
Yeah.
So, we don't do a lot of ranking reports, Yeah. I mean, rankings could be all over the place depending on, where they're located when they actually run the rankings, and they don't know, whether they're signed in or whether they're not, whatever.
And then it's, I try to get people off of rankings as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, because here I am sitting in, Gilbert, Arizona, and the client's in Dallas, Texas, and hey, you're number one here. Nah, well, not when I search. So you get into those type of conversations, rather than saying, hey, you got 100 phone calls this month. How were they? Were they the right leads? Do we need to put some kind of system in place to weed out the tire kickers and all the stuff to get the more quality leads and stuff? But yeah, it's
100%. You've got to do that. You've got to do that. I mean, and we've found things that our clients didn't even know on those calls. It's like, hey, did you know that you told us to go after Boring, it's a plumbing company, and your front desk person just turned away somebody for one of those jobs, and it's like, you wanted us to go after that search term and you're turning them away. What's the deal?
You're not answering your phone.
It's like, you got to train your front desk people too. So or roofing, as one of those categories, type of clients where it's like, well, I don't really want to do roof repair. And it's like, you kind of got to do roof repair in order to be able to, get the roofing, roof replacement ones too. You're missing out on that market that they really would like to have their roof repaired, but they don't understand that they can't.
Yeah. I have more trouble with the roof inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the hang up. Yeah. And I know, I've had roofers for years, and I understand that they don't want to go out and fix somebody else's crap. I understand that, but if that's $100,000 roof that you just got because you went out there to fix a leak, then I think that pays for all the freaking ones you go out there and just fix the leaks. So.
Yeah. My sister owns a roofing company, right? And so, her, she's now getting into commercial, and she's fixing other, companies' flat roof problems, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's a big deal. But then we're listening to calls, and then clients turning away the roof repair. It's like, dude, no, we don't do roof repair.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we're going to rework everything so that you're not ranking on roof repair. But I think that's a big mistake. Not a think, it is.
Yeah.
But, sure. I think, for us, that have actually been in the industry for a while, we also know that we're basically business consultants. Answer your phone, please. Follow up on those leads right away. It's like, I can do so much, but man, if it goes to voicemail, it's going, those people are moving on to somebody else. So,
well, and it's crazy to me, and it's really a bad problem here, as I'm sure it is, elsewhere. But, if you're looking for a home service company, you're probably going to have to call 3 or 4 people because they're not going to answer their phone.
mm-hmm.
And even if you leave them a message, they don't call you back.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say
that's not just in the home service industry. That's pretty much in so many industries. A lot of it because they're getting so many spam calls, so they're just sick of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I get that. So we started introducing AI voice, and like I have an accountant. We're doing AI voice, picks up. We've got all the questions being, the frequently asked questions are all trained and everything else, and it's booking appointments for them.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Because if they can't answer the phone and it's going to go to voicemail, I mean, that's a lost opportunity.
For sure.
And as marketers, we got to be, we're all about getting them the opportunities, but they got to take it the rest of the way home, right?
100%. Yep. So, Dixon, well, welcome, Mr. Jones. As search engines become better in understanding user searches, a search term for one user should give different results and have a different meaning to another user. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the intent before the intent behind the intent, or the intent before the search.
Yeah. Bottom funnel stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Lots changing in the industry, and changing, but it's still the same. I think that I think the clients answering their calls is actually a worse problem than ever, in my opinion. And so that's where our chatbots, all of our AI chatbots, and all of our AI voice and everything else has been huge for us.
Yeah, we're getting into the definitely the AI chat stuff for sure. We haven't gone into the voice, but we're trying to figure out. We were actually even going to start an appointment setting system, just a whole different division, because it gets to be so damn frustrating. Especially, like I said, I really take it. I've got a roofer that's they're up to almost a 60+% missed call rate on their pay-per-click account. Like, this is money you're paying for. So this is leads. This is leads that you're spending $5,000 a month for. Let's just shut it off. If you're not going to answer your freaking phone, or let's go after something that's more higher ticket only. Like, let's change this thing up. And
what's the reason for missing calls? Any idea?
It's just one person in the office, and again, I don't know how much this one person can handle. If they're getting 20+ calls a day, they need somebody else. They need a backup system, or and it's not it's not that they can't handle more work, but I don't know. It's roofing companies are
we can do like a missed call text back automation, with a chat bot, to be able to follow up, send just similar to even my voice AI is sending out a link to to their calendar, and that's how people are booking appointments. So you 100% can, kind of close that gap a little bit.
Yeah.
Home services, in particular, they have a harder time, committing to having somebody book on their calendar. So my workaround on that is to have them book for a phone call, basically like a discovery call. So, so it's not that we're coming out to do the estimate or whatever, but we're going to set a time that I can actually talk to you about your project. And, it kind of keeps people at bay from calling somebody else.
Well, and like you said, we are business consultants, and there's only so much we can do for somebody else's business, short of taking it over.
Right. Short of a little rev share or something like that, right? It's like, you want me to run your business for you? I mean,
yeah. What do you want?
Yeah, and that's the conversation, right? So if I'm going to go into setting your appointments for you, now I just cross that threshold of, let's talk some equity, let's talk some, profit share, whatever. Good morning, Mr. David Johnson. It's part of my process when talking to a client. One, what's your close rate on inquiries? If it's less than 70%, we need to look into your lead processing plan and sales conversions. Yep, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, for sure. It's amazing how many people or how many businesses just don't close right or don't pay attention. I love this story. I took over this pay-per-click account for a Windows company. Pretty good spend. They were spending about $20,000 a month. But they were never tracking their calls. So I put in the call tracking like we all do, and started gathering the recordings and everything. And well, me and the business owner sat down and listened to recordings, and that 4 out of the 7 salespeople were giving prices over the phone rather than setting appointments to go out to measure for windows and try to sell more than one window. And he's like, "What he was pissed. He had no idea." And the 4 salespeople that he fired have been with him over a year. And he's like, "How much business have I lost?" When the whole idea of a window company is to go out and look at the window you want to replace and say, "Hey, why don't we do all the windows?" Those type of things. And yeah, he was just flabbergasted. And I kind of blamed him. I'm like, you never paid attention to your salespeople. You never listened to the calls. You never.
Yeah. Is it really a salesperson issue? I mean, most of that comes from the top down, right? So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So
did you know that you could take those voice recordings, the transcripts and stuff like that, and basically upload it into ChatGPT and ask it what the problem, what do you find, what are the most common problems? So, so that, I mean, it's a big issue, for sure. I mean, most business owners are shocked when they actually hear those voice recordings. I can't tell you how many, I mean, have been like so pissed after they listen to them and find out what's really going on. And even when I send them call recordings every week, it's like, are you listening to these? And they're not. It's like, this is a great training opportunity for you.
I agree 100%. And I think it's vital, and it's, it's not even an option anymore for us. You're getting call tracking. Even if you have call tracking, you're getting our call tracking. So because that is the next step. If you tell me you don't have any business and you're tracking your calls and seeing what your processes are and all this other stuff, because the leads are coming. We don't even have those conversations anymore. I used to say, okay, well, let me know how your calls come, and without having that right in front of my face, I don't even
honestly, I think that's a lot of, the reason why our clients, also stick with us is because, they see the number of calls that they're getting, right? They know how many inquiries that they're getting. And that's something that they don't want to risk going to somewhere else, within our, somebody else that says that they can do something. And it's like, oh yeah, I can do it for $500 a month or whatever, and I'm gonna do it all for you. And it's like, really? I mean, we run pretty lean, I'm gonna say, on an overall basis, and there's just no possible way. Our clients are getting 5 to 6 people at minimum on their team that are helping them. I mean, you're not gonna get something like that for $500 a month.
No, not at all.
So I know that like you're very interested in AI, and you've been kind of deep diving into that for a while. Is there anything else in our industry that excites you?
Well, the AI and the automation has, definitely been fun. I'm playing with a lot of that. And, I have been finding that general consumers, the B2B for us, has been kind of shifting a little bit, I think, back more towards local. And that, people that are local are wanting to buy from internet marketing companies that are local too, somebody that they can see. So I'm using that AI and automation in our networking, with our reps and everything as well. So that's kind of fun. I think, as I've been in advertising my whole adult life, so I'm kind of, maybe a little bit different than some of the, quote unquote SEOs. I consider, and I think we all should really consider ourselves to be marketers. And then the marketers are, what we're doing is trying to get our clients leads. And it's been a kind of a crazy year for SEO. I think everybody would agree as far as all the fluctuations and, whatnot with Google and all of their craziness this last year. So, for us, we've been doing a lot of other things to be able to make sure that our clients are getting leads, whether it be on Nextdoor or, Facebook groups or Craigslist ads, you name it, postcards, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good focus that you have because, so many of the people in the industry are focused on rankings and where am I at in Google? And that's kind of irrelevant if you're not getting calls and your business is not moving forward, right? And so take that marketing first approach, which is definitely a win-win for clients. And I think a lot of clients value that. Like you're actually making a difference. Like, who cares what the SERPs say, right? Like, does the mean, are you making money?
That's right. Absolutely. Does not matter. I mean, at the end of the day, what matters is are you getting leads? And if we're bringing that to the table for you, and we prove it, of course, with our call tracking and everything else, that's what you hired us for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. And how we do that is irrelevant. I mean, we'll do whatever we need to do in order to be able to get those leads to you. So if right now, Google tanks, I can't have all of my eggs in one basket for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, you have to be able to pivot quickly. So, one of the things that we've always done is we always have an AdWords account made for every client, whether we use it or not. We can turn it on quickly. I tend to use it at the beginning, especially, we tell everybody it's going to take X amount of time to start bringing in quality leads. And we all know that after about 2 or 3 months and, well, I've been paying you. Yeah. We talked about this long and, we just started taking a couple $100 a month and doing it mostly through Bing now. But any way to start getting them leads, as soon as possible helps us, obviously.
Right. Yeah. No, we've been using Bing too. Our jobs are to bring, our clients more leads. And at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. They may think of us as only, I don't really sell ourselves as just an SEO company. We're an internet marketing company. We're a digital marketing agency. We do all things digital, so, if there is a way for us to be able to market, your business, anywhere on the internet, we need to be able to, help with that. So, and, we have delved into a little bit of print here and there with some postcards and things like that, just to be able to push things. I think one of the funnest things as far as, we were talking about roofing companies is like, we've done some win back programs, reaching out to previous clients. And when there's a hailstorm or something like that, man, I've got some great response, but, just sending out a text message, to previous customers saying, hey, there was a hailstorm last night at 11:30. You're in a target area, we probably should come out and do a free roof inspection just to, make sure that you don't have any hail damage, and we are experts in the industry, as far as insurance claims and things like that and helping you get through that. So it's gotten, I've had some clients that are just like, I can't believe, we only had like 200 people to reach out to, but they got 20 people that responded saying yes.
Yeah.
Please,
Heck yeah. That's always the thing is freaking, you pay attention to stuff like that. I've been doing that in Texas for years when a storm comes through and, we had our big one in East Texas. I think they had 72 leads in 48 hours. That's massive, and a lot of those are commercial. That's when you get into big ticket stuff.
But, they also have to cooperate with you. And so, we talk to our clients about all that. It's like, okay, it needs to be ready to go. You can't give me that. And it's like, hey, the hailstorm was yesterday. No, let me get your client, get my client list to you and all of that. Like, that's not how it works. We've got to be ready to go now,
exactly.
Push the button.
Exactly right. And that's and it's so critical. And then because most especially contractors don't think that way. They think reactive instead of proactive. And
right.
And we come in and we say, no, we're proactive. We're ready when anything happens. And so, but we need your help in getting ready, whether it be customer match lists or, give me your database to throw into high level to get you ready for an email campaign or whatever thing is. But yeah, it's and people are shocked that we get into that part. They said, "Oh, I thought you're just SEO." No,
No,
we do everything.
I am, you know, handling your digital marketing. I'm handling everything. My job is to be able to get you leads coming back in the door, even if they were previous clients.
Yeah, and JP just mentioned too, we started a local business meetup to help local businesses with marketing. You know, and I think that's just gold. I mean, that's you know, we did that years ago, and I mean, I think we've all done the BNI play for a while. You know, and you kind of go through exhaust your leads through BNI pretty quick. But you know, it does, you know, have a monthly freaking thing at a hotel about local businesses, you know, free, you know, and you'd be surprised at the kind of help that you can do. And obviously the leads you get, it's super powerful. So, and then JP also mentioned he's getting into video production. We're doing more in video this year.
We are too. Yeah, so, videos and podcasts and stuff like that. So yeah, we're definitely doing quite a bit more. And some of my clients are getting into it, believe it or not, you know, contractors and whatnot. So we're kind of helping to assist with that. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. Yeah, you know, I mean, we haven't really done BNI, but you know, a lot of my leads actually come from local referrals or referrals from my clients and from my local groups that I'm actually in and everything. So, you know, I'd say probably 35-40% of my leads actually come from those that are referring me.
Right on. And that's great. That's, you know, that's it's always good to get referrals. So and you know, I'm pretty niche down, and one of the things that I've got, I get referrals from my niche down clients that have husbands or wives and other things that they want me to do. And so those are the ones I kind of look at and say, well, you know, I haven't done lawyers in quite a while. I don't really like them.
I don't really like them.
Yeah. So
you've done great with lawyers in the past, though. You found some really interesting stuff when, you know, somebody
for sure,
or whatever, right? So
yeah, I you know, I mean, like I said, it's just, I think the biggest things that I have with lawyers is that, you know, especially on the personal injury slide, is getting them niche down. You know, I'm not going after your 16 services. I'm not going after dog bite and all this stuff. Yeah, we're going to niche it down to what makes you the money. And you know, and those are the conversations that I like to have with all clients. But yeah, I just it's a tough one with lawyers, especially if they're established. If they're new, that's an easier conversation. But if they're established, and you know, so yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't, you know, do them or take them. It's just going to be a special circumstance.
What niche are you dealing with? Are you still predominantly doing med spas, or?
Yeah, we're predominantly medical and home services. On the white label side, we do a little bit more. We get a little bit off track a little bit, but I still like home services. Not so much roofers, but foundation repair, plumbers, you know, those type of people. But yeah, medical is my big one. I love medical, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but one of the reasons I love medical is most of them are female business owners. I love working with female business owners. It's, you know, the conversations are much easier. They're more, you know, they're more of a entrepreneur type spirit. You know, they kind of listen to you and, you know, do all the stuff that you want everybody to do. To where, you know, I mean, my biggest roofer, it took me a year to get him on the phone. I mean, it's just like, well, come on, let's have a conversation. You know, well, I'm doing great. I understand that, but let's have a conversation. You know?
Right. You're doing great until you're not doing great. And then all of a sudden you decide to fire me, and we've never had a conversation that I've been trying to get you on the phone with forever. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are the ones that, hey, we're going to go a different direction. Oh, okay.
But, yeah, that's why, I mean, we really emphasize that it's a partnership and we need your help. You know, you can't, you know, not give us what we need. We keep asking you and asking you and asking you, and you know, four fingers are being pointed back at you. Come on, help us. You know, it's your business. I can't make some of this stuff up. You know, so
And that's, that's a fact. It's really kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. It's I don't take it personal.
That's where we're helping, as much as we possibly can, like automating reviews, review responses, automating all of their social signals, posting their good reviews and things like that have been kind of a big thing too for our clients, because it kind of spreads the news of how well they're doing and satisfies Google as far as, having the review responses, and all of that type of stuff. So
now, do you do anything when you first onboard somebody as far as like sending them stuff, swag, or anything like? Do you?
Yeah. Our new clients. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Our new clients get a welcome, any of our SEO clients, they get a welcome box with, Kayla, my general manager and daughter, has put together a nice little welcome box that has, an engraved Yeti cup and some custom stickers that can go on
right there. Elizabeth's got the spring.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. We got, she's made custom stickers for their industry. Oh gosh, I can't remember what some of them say. They're pretty funny. She's put together some pretty cute ones that, are talking about if it's an accountant Excel spreadsheets, or, if it's duct cleaning, whatever, so that they can put the stickers on anything that they want. And then we have all of our welcome packet QR codes, all the keywords that they chose is in there, who to contact, for what, all of that type of stuff is all given to them, along with I think we're also giving a phone charger, and a phone stand and things like that. So just a beanie and hats and all the good stuff.
Okay.
And you run that, like, you just mail it out from your office. You don't use a service. I know there's a lot of services that do that.
We do it from our office because it is personalized. Those little stickers and things like that are all personalized, to their industry and everything. And our box is all completely, personalized. So, we look at the type of client and where they're living, as far as should they get a beanie or should they get a, hat, a regular trucker style hat or whatever. So, yeah, it's all personalized.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. We need to do. We've been talking about doing something like that. So.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're putting together little NFC QR code cards for our clients that has their logo on it and everything else that they could use to be able to get reviews and stuff too. So yeah, it's all, boutique type, I'll say, touch to it.
That's cool. Are you still heavy into towing, or did you branch out a little bit?
Oh, I'm big into towing. That's for sure. Yeah. Actually, we had, some downturn as through COVID, certainly some big areas, that were basically completely shut down for a while. I lost a couple of accounts, not very many though. Actually, I think 2 total. So, we run live auctions for some of them, things like that a couple times a week, so we're kind of, we got our hands in pretty deep there.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
But we haven't, like a lot of people like, Josh Nelson and, they've all talked and preached about niching down, and we are still doing a lot of different industries, I guess, and with that, I can see a lot of things, we can see different trends that might be hitting one industry versus another. So I think it gives us some nice insight on the back end sometimes.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, and I think that one of the reasons why we're a little afraid to completely niche down, like, yes, we love the medical and the med spa, but COVID was a big eye opener for us because we lost so much.
Right. I couldn't even imagine.
We lost about $600,000 a year from just
in what, 2 weeks? Like, it went from everything to nothing, and that kind of gets your attention, and that's
100%.
it's
Yeah.
really hard for us to niche down like as much as everybody says, because like, man, like you said, you cannot have all your eggs in one basket, especially at the price of eggs nowadays.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, I thought of that, when certainly that was happening and everything. I was just like, man, I'm so glad that I wasn't in one industry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it was and we were rocking too. I mean, we had, infinity ranking. We were just we had 2 separate companies that were doing it. And then, yeah, COVID hit and we lost, I think the final count was 29 spas in about 7 weeks. That's money. So it's just like,
it's too bad that they didn't have the foresight, that they would circle back around, because my daughter owns a hair salon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I was really worried, for her, as far as that goes. The day before she was shut down, she signed a lease to expand to 4 times the size of what she, was currently at.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe you should back out and say hold off for a little bit, because I don't know how long this is going to be. She's like, no, Mom. I mean, she's stubborn like me. She was like, nope, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be just fine. It took me 2 years to convince them to actually lease this space to me. And today she has 9 spots, in her hair salon that, different stylists and estheticians and things like that. So,
Right on.
Does she do her own marketing, or do you guys do marketing for her?
We do. Well, she does her own social, which, for sure, has a huge play in what but I kind of got her started on it, and then she took over on that part. And then, we do all of her, of course, her SEO and everything. So she's been able to, I mean, she had one girl that moved up, I think, from Arizona. I remember, I didn't have any clientele whatsoever, but she was able to walk right into her salon and have appointments, because my daughter hasn't taken, new clients on in years.
Mm-hmm.
So, despite actually changing, as she had a child and she wanted to not work on the weekends anymore or work in the evenings, she still, replaced the clients that weren't willing to actually bend with her schedule, and kept rocking and rolling. So yeah, having appointments, for somebody that's brand new, that has no clientele, and you've got call-ins every day, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's I think the biggest thing that COVID taught me is, we bounced back pretty quick because I went a la carte. I took all of our freaking systems and did individual pricing. Hey, let's just do some content, or hey, let's just work on the GMB, or just trying to keep the thing going. And obviously we're plenty back from that, but I think, but just the sad stories. I need to reach out to her, but her spa was actually burned down in the riots in Portland.
Oh no.
And last I talked to her, her insurance wasn't even covering it because it was some terrorist clause or some crap, I need to reach out to her, but as far as I know, she just, went out of business. And, and the sad thing was she was in Cool Sculpting. So the Cool Sculpting machines still had to be paid for. And, even though they weren't in existence anymore. And
Portland got pretty bad.
Yeah, Portland got hit pretty bad. So,
yeah.
All right, cool. So spring training, Elisabeth, you want to kick that off? Our favorite topic this time of year?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm very excited. I have a lot of great things. I don't know, what questions do you have for spring training? You're going to be involved in it again this year. You've been pretty consistent with us since forever.
Yeah.
So
I am so excited. I think you've got some new speakers. Terry did say that there's some AI and automation that's already being, talked about. So I'm trying to figure out what it is exactly that you guys would like me to go into, whether it be our AI and automation, or how we're getting leads, from a local standpoint, or other things that we've even diversified in being able to help our clients and getting leads from other sources outside of Google. So, but yeah, super excited. It's going to be lots of fun. So we got a new hotel this year, right?
We do. Down in Chandler, and one of the great things about it is, first of all, it's a nice hotel still, because I'm swanky. But it's a Crown Plaza. It's an older hotel. It's been renovated, so it's like over 100 years. So it has some really nice history. It has unique architecture. It's not, just the cookie cutter stuff.
It's attached to a golf course.
Yeah, it's attached to a golf course, so Terry's happy. You don't have to go far.
I'd be happy too.
Yeah, exactly. But right within like a 2-block radius is about 35 bars and restaurants and coffee places and ice cream and stuff like that. So tons of networking opportunities, like food if people are really into food. But then the hotel has some really nice spots to sit, like in the lobby. They already have live music Friday and Saturday. So, I mean, there's nice stuff there for everybody.
Awesome. That's awesome. I mean, going to the conference, you learn so much, from different people on just little twists, because even though everybody is doing SEO, we all have a little twist or, something that we kind of add our own flair to or whatever. So learning those from, the speakers, is amazing. But oftentimes you're really not getting the full understanding and what exactly is being done unless you have that after hours time to be able to sit down and to really network. And those bonds are just amazing. You had April and Paul last year helping. April was helping with the spring training and everything, and I hadn't even met her, and come to find out that she's actually in Ridgefield. So now they come over to our house. So you saw, I think Tracy and Michael actually had come to our house, and April and Paul had as well. So you form bonds with, other people in the industry, and, just kind of picking, each other's brain and whatnot is a lot of fun. But that's where it all starts, is really going to like spring training has been amazing for us to be able to have learn really on the after hours, because that's really when you kind of dig into the meat and potatoes of things. But then also those relationships to be able to just pick up the phone and go, hey, Terry, help me out here. Terry's, definitely helped us out a couple of times. And it's like, I'm not getting this. What part of this am I missing? So, as you guys run a phenomenal conference. If anybody hasn't been to it, I highly encourage you to, because you are really missing out. In terms
I would tend to agree. Yep.
The breadth of knowledge is unbelievable. When you have 33 speakers this year?
Yeah, 33 speakers. And we're even doing an affiliate panel, which I'm super excited about, because in the world of SEO, everybody's saying affiliates are dead and all this stuff. Well, James Dooley, freaking Craig Campbell, these guys are going to have an affiliate panel, question and answer type thing. And I keep telling people, as long as somebody wants to sell something, you can always get a piece of it. Yeah. So that's the whole affiliate world. So, and we're also probably, I'm not sure, we're going to do we'll probably do an SEO panel. I'm still trying to work out the exact schedules, but it'll be morning stage like always. And then the afternoon will be breakout rooms. Our breakout rooms this year are going to be automation, AI, SEO, and agency growth. So I'm really trying to dig home on this AI stuff, because it's not going away. And our clients are now asking us if we can help them with this new AI thing. So I think that's another area that we need to all look at and say, hey, what can I do and get paid more for helping my client do better onboarding, or do better, of aftercare if they're a medical spa, all automated type stuff. And that's the stuff that we think is going to be super important. But yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. As far as the layout, we're going to have the golf day, which we always do, the golf extravaganza. And then we're going to have the VIP day, which will be, we're probably going to do breakout sessions with Marty Marion and JP.
Oh, nice.
For the VIP crowd. And then in the afternoon, Elisabeth's got some fun scheduled, we go out and have a blast. And then Friday's the conference, Saturday the conference, Sunday morning the conference, and then Sunday afternoon is the tech mastermind.
Okay.
So
excellent.
It's going to be really cool. So Sunday night it'll all be over.
Well, I can speak on pretty much any one of those topics, AI, automation, agency growth. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're my little pawn I have on my chessboard.
Favorite weapon.
It's the hardest thing. I mean, people just don't get. I mean, we had 72 speaker requests this year, and our whole goal was to find and pick the people that not only were good in certain areas, obviously, or that promoted certain areas, but also people that just had different networks than ours. We really paid attention to that this year. So our network is our network, but there's other networks out there. There's other groups. There's other people. So we have people coming in that people have never heard of before. So which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Well, that's the value is you get information from different areas so that you're more well-rounded. Like we have our core group that we kind of conference hop. We're all at each other's conferences and we all support each other, and that's fantastic. But we need a little bit of new blood in, like what else is going on, So, we're not the end all and the be all of SEO by any means. Like I want to know new people in SEO,
Yeah, I mean, we got people like Nathan Gotch is coming. He's never spoke before. Okay. So this will be his first speaking thing. So, and me, I love doing that. I introduced Marty Mary into the world at the first spring training. So I love putting people on.
Didn't I speak the first spring training too?
You did.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. A lot of people, the first spring training was for a lot of people the first time. Julia McCoy's coming, an AI just freaking juggernaut. She's just awesome.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's done a lot with AI. Marie's coming back.
I saw that. What's she going to speak about?
I don't know yet. So she's going to be on the SEO side because she loves that world. So we're going to have another conversation with her about that. And Corey Hubble's coming. Corey's just freaking some of these people that are coming this year, I really wanted last year, like Herc Magnus, he was supposed to be there last year, but this year he's coming. So it's really freaking cool.
There's some names I recognize and some names I don't. So, I may have, Herc I've actually been following for quite a while. And there's definitely some names there that I don't recognize. AI, I follow Jonathan Mast.
We actually asked him to come. He couldn't. It was just the schedule wouldn't fit for him.
Yeah.
I also follow him. Also, he's especially for images. He's amazing at images.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot with that. I'm still trying to work out the fingers. Getting the hands just right on AI is not exactly the easiest. So, still working on it. But
I mean, if I could just get the word spelled right in the image, that'd be, and I even tell it.
I gave up on that. I just don't put image, words in them anymore. I just Photoshop them in or use Canva or something. So exciting. And now you guys are actually offering a payment program too. So I think that's amazing. I might actually take advantage of that. I've got somebody that said that they want to come from our team that hasn't been before. So
we've never done it before. And we've had requests, but I mean, here's the key though. The problem or challenge with these type of things is we can only do it until March 1st, because then the math doesn't work right to get it all. You have to be paid up before April 23rd so we can finalize all the stuff that we have to finalize. Right. But so far it's been a big hit. It's, makes cash flow easier. We get that. We're small business owners also. So, and it's not like you're saving any money by not doing it this way because we didn't mark it up. We rounded it off, more to speak. But,
sure. Sure. No, that's great. I think that'll make it a lot, easier for some to be able to budget it. I mean, I still deal with budgets, even if, even being over a $5 million company, we still like, okay, what are we going to actually, put into this month? And, all of that. We recently been doing some business coaching and things like that with the amazing Tracy. And I mean, we all have to budget things. So I think budgeting, your ongoing training, because in reality, that's what it is, I mean, and if there's companies out there, or people out there doing SEO and they're not going to conferences, and in particular this conference, they're crazy, because, you have your head buried in the sand, most likely. And, I mean, this is the time to learn, you can't just, think that it's going to be the same as what it was last year or whatever. I mean, we stayed on, I'm going to say under the radar for many years. I can't remember, Harry, where we ran into each other, but it was at a conference in Vegas. I don't remember which one. But it was,
I do.
Was it
it was Rockstars when they had it at Hooters.
Oh, geez, that time. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we saw you guys coming down the elevator saying, "I'm not staying here." And so we didn't stay there either. We went to Polo Towers, I think, that time.
Yeah. I was like, no, I think I'm going somewhere else. And it just, but anyway, and it's just, our first one was, I think it was their one and only, was Local Client Takeover.
Yeah.
And we'd been in business for 9-10 years at that point, I think, before they even had that. I don't know. And I was like, well, let's just find out what the rest of the world's doing out there. I know what we've been doing. So, and learned a lot, I mean, some conferences are a little different. You don't learn as much, you're going, and maybe they have too many pitches and things like that. That's what I love about spring training too, is that you're not pitch heavy.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. We started it mainly for the networking, because we, I mean, I keep joking with people. We also do masterminds, and I think the funnest mastermind is 2 speakers and then go play the rest of the day and just network and be together. And, that's, it's tough being in a room for 3 days for 8 hours,
Yeah.
And it's so one of the reasons why I think the breakout rooms were such a big hit last year is because people could pick and choose where they wanted to go, or if they didn't want to go to anything, there was no obligation. When everybody's in a big room, you're kind of obligated to, oh geez, I hope Ted doesn't see me not in his presentation, And so we really wanted to have it more of a relaxing type of atmosphere, to where, hey, if I want to go see this person, great. Or if I just want to talk to this person for the next hour, great. So
with so many speakers, won't it be hard to be able to see who you really want to see? That's my only concern, is there was a couple I missed last year with the breakout rooms, and
I think this year, last year was my fault because I didn't change the times. The time slots are the ones that have to change so people can see each other. But yeah, we're still trying to figure out the semantics as far as are we going to record those rooms and give people the recordings? I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it's there's one I missed last time. So yeah, I get it 100%. But I think this time, though, I think it's going to be a little bit easier, just because of the fact that we've got, I don't know. I just think it's because of the time frame, the way I'm mixing up the times. And again, my big chessboard, so it's on my wall, so I get to play with it every day. But yeah. Hopefully one of these days I'll make a decision and just end it, because I'm tired of playing with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I really look forward to it, and I do every year. So I think this year I might stay an extra couple of days. Got to talk the hubby into it, but maybe go play in Sedona afterwards or something.
And that's what, a lot of people did that last year. And I think it's a prime example of what to do. I mean, you can go up north and see the Grand Canyon. You can go down south and see Bisbee and Tombstone, and make a freaking trip out of it, and write it off all of your taxes. I'm not an accountant.
I'm not an accountant, right? No, I gotcha. I actually have clients down there too, in janitorial industry. So
Exactly. But no, I think it's, reach out to us if you got any questions, if you're wanting to come. And then, if there's any kind of thing we can help you do it. I know Elisabeth's helping some people come over from overseas that needed visas and stuff. So if we can accommodate you, we will. So we really love doing this, and we just one of our passions that we do it. I spent a lot of time and a lot of focus on the speaker side. This year I had help with Brian Cato, Chad, and Clint Butler. And so it wasn't all me this time, but I think we've got a pretty freaking stellar lineup. Some of these people, are huge freaking players, just massive people. And for them to just come and spend time and network with us, when do we get that privilege?
Right.
So,
right. No,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be amazing.
But,
honored to be part of the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, we're happy to have you for sure. So anyways, we're about at our hour. Thank you everybody for joining us. Again, subscribe, share, friend, whatever, to kind of keep this thing going. We'll be back next Monday. Next Monday is actually pretty exciting. We actually have Elisabeth's business coach coming on that's also going to speak at spring training. So, nice. So she's coming on next week, and she just, we get to introduce her to you guys. So that's what's so exciting about it.
Awesome.
So, but anyways, reach out if you need anything. We're happy to help you. Super excited about Monique today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. You should have put Wes on for a second, but he's probably.
Yeah. Now you guys do your own golf talk on the side,
right?
Your own golf talk podcast.
Oh, you got a happy hour podcast or happy hour tech talk tomorrow, right?
Yeah. When is that starting?
Yeah, it's starting tomorrow. Yep. 4:00 Mountain Standard Time.
Okay. So
happy hour with Terry and friends. That's our
bring your own beverage, have your own glass, and
that's a little early for me to start drinking already.
Oh no, it's not. I know you.
Hey. Oh well, when I'm on vacation, or
right.
Well, pretend you're on vacation. So that works.
I just got a couple more weeks before I go.
Then she's an hour behind, then it's 3. That is a little early to start drinking.
Well, when we switch again, then we'll be,
Okay.
I'd like to get rid of daylight savings time, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hoping somebody does. That's just craziest thing. It confuses me for the first couple of weeks every time they freaking do it, and I've been living with it my whole life here. So
I know. I always have to remember to tell all my appointment setting team, my VAs, it's like our time changed again. Please make sure our hours.
Right.
So,
yeah. Exactly. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. Say hi to Kayla for us, and everything else going on in your world.
I'll drag her down there this time.
Right on. Yeah. I'm hoping she comes. She's really awesome to freaking, talk to and spend time with, especially running your organization and pinging her brain.
Yeah. So. Couldn't do it without her. I don't want to do all that.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Terry. Bye, Elisabeth.
Thank you.
Bye.